Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of But Is It Power Pop? I appreciate you stopping by. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe somewhere down below there. There's buttons to click and you can copy the URL up there and paste it on your Facebook page or wherever you like to share things. But no more lollygagging. I'm going to get into some music. Right now, first thing up, I'm going to talk about Glam Weasel. Glam Weasel. Is it power pop? No, it's not power pop. But hold on. There's a reason why I'm talking about Glam Weasel. They're great pop melodies. Jerry T. Jones and Colin Minchin used to be in a band called One the Juggler in the 80s. And then they formed Glam Weasel in about 2008 or so. And this is a compilation that contains 18 tracks from their 3 albums, plus a few spare tracks that didn't make it on the albums. It's really great. Very, very much influenced by Bowie and Mott the Hoople and T-Rex. Plus throw in some Martin Newell and Cleaners from Venus and Robin Hitchcock and the Kinks, and you've got a really cool band. This is called The Great Unknown. It's a compilation on Angel Air Records. You can listen to an interview with Jerry T. Jones and me and Jerry T. Jones talking about this album, One the Juggler, and so much more. You can listen to that on Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. It's available to stream or download wherever wonderful podcasts are available. Next up, this is yummy, 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 yummy. This is Paul Collins, Out of My Head. Brand new Paul Collins album. Is it power pop? Yeah, it's power pop. It is power pop of the utmost wonderful, passionate variety. Thing that gets lost about power pop, I mean, there's so many different descriptions of power pop. You know, you ask somebody and, you know, everyone's going to give you a different answer. But the real basis of power pop really tends to be rock and roll. It has to have a rock and roll heart and with great melodies and hooks and chiming guitars and harmonies and stuff. And Paul Collins is perfect at that. He's been doing it since his days with the Nerves. This is the first album he has actually played drums with, the whole album, since the days of the Nerves. And it's a great record. There's a lot of songs that I wake up in the morning and they're in my head and I go, "What? Oh, it's something off the new Paul Collins album." Man, Out of My Head, that's brand new from Paul Collins. You should definitely check that out. Great power pop. Then we got a band called the Donkeys. This is, they came out during the punk age. They were power pop meets punk meets mod. And they only put out singles, and they broke up before an album could be completed. But the singles were all just amazing, hooky. I mean, each time a single came out, I just go, "When's the album coming? When's the album coming?" Well, the album never came. Well, they did record a bunch of stuff for the album, and this Television Anarchy is basically all the singles plus a bunch of unreleased tracks. Many of which tend to be experimentally kind of strange and odd and stuff, but almost everything on this disc is definitely worth your while, especially the singles. I mean, if anything, the singles are fabulous. Plus, there's another handful, larger than a handful, of great poppy, hooky tracks. And like I said, they're edgy, punky, mod pop from the late 70s, early 80s. And, you know, not to be confused by numerous other donkeys that have come along. This is actually on the Detour Records label. It's a 2 CD set. Features loads of tracks there. And this is definitely worth your time. But is it power pop? I don't want to pigeonhole these guys and say it's power pop. But power pop fans will definitely dig it. There was another version of this that came out that was... this one here, this is Japanese only, but it has far fewer tracks. It has the same singles tracks, and basically everything on this is on this, but you get more here. So this is really worth your time because it has more tracks. Even though some would say that cover is better than that one, but this has far more music on it. Detour Records, Television Anarchy by the Donkeys. That's definitely worth your time. Here's something that is newly remastered and expanded remastered and expanded. It's Trees, Sleep Convention. This is on the Rebellion Remastered label, and it actually has the album plus a couple alternate versions and like 10 extra tracks. This is remastered from the original master tapes. Dane Canover was a great pop songwriter. This album tends to fall in between power pop and synth pop. Probably it's more synth pop than power pop fans would prefer, but a bunch of great songs. Delta Sleep is fantastic. Come Back got a lot of airplay on like K-Rock and probably even MTV. But Trees, Sleep Convention, official, out on CD now. And watch out for my Beach Blanket Fort Bingo podcast, because I will be interviewing Mr. Dane Canover about this album and so much more. A label that I have not featured much, but I plan to feature a lot, is a label called Pop Boomerang. And they have tons of great pop. Now, is it power pop? No. But there's some great power pop in there. There's twee pop. There's like singer-songwriter pop. There's just a great variety of stuff that I highly recommend. You might want to start off with something called Aches and Shakes, or one of their many compilations. They have a bunch of great compilations out. This is a 2 CD one and has a lot of their bands. The label's based in Australia. And like I said, I want to feature more stuff on like my radio show and podcast and right here on But Is It Power Pop, because they're just a great label. And Scott Thurling, the guy who runs the label, he really knows his way around a melody. He understands that pop isn't just jangle, but there's plenty of jangle on his label. There's plenty of female vocals and male vocals and acoustic stuff. Just a great variety of stuff. Check out Pop Boomerang. That's one word, Pop Boomerang. And you're going to find a lot of great stuff on that label. Even just do a search of the label and try to find some stuff on maybe YouTube or Facebook or something. But this is a 2 CD set that you should definitely check out. Is it power pop? Some of it is, and some of it's just great pop. So definitely Pop Boomerang. Watch for a lot more stuff from them. But in the meantime, go out and check them out on the interweb. Let's get classic. Classic, if you know what I mean. Tommy Tutone, first 2 albums on 1 CD. Hello. Everybody knows 8675309, a song that I never, ever listen to because I've heard it way too many times. But were Tommy Tutone power pop? I say no. But they were great pop. The first album, if you remember, like Girl in the Backseat, Angel Say No, things like that. To me, it sounded more like... they're more influenced by Van Morrison and, maybe, there's a lot of influences in there. Great stuff. It is absolutely stellar stuff, especially the first album there, self-titled. But it really wasn't power pop. People, power pop people don't call them power pop, but then non-power pop people probably call them power pop. If that made any sense, I hope it did, because it sure didn't make sense to me. But this is still something recommended. Tommy Tutone, the first 2 albums on 1 CD. That's Tommy Tutone and Tommy Tutone 2. And those aren't tongue twisters. Tommy Tutone, Tommy Tutone 2, Tommy Tutone, Tommy Tutone 2, Tommy Tutone. Okay. Here's something a little more current, but still just as classic. It is BMX Bandits. This is absolutely 100% a fantastic record. Life Goes On. This right here is the actual expanded version. Not only do you get the album in its entirety, but you also get all the B-sides. And their B-sides are fantastic. Douglas Stewart is generally the leader of the band. And just his pop vision, it keeps changing a little bit. He just keeps sort of adjusting it. Sort of like just adjusting the light bulbs and, maybe switching a light out and changing different colors. But it's still... at its core, it's this pop that's a mixture of 60s and 70s and 80s. All the stuff that he loves, he puts it into this pot, stirs it around, and it comes out sounding like nobody else but BMX Bandits. You definitely need to check anything out by them. This is one of my favorites, Life Goes On. It does contain the hit Serious Drugs. And that's absolutely wonderful, fantastic, as you would probably expect me to say, because I'm not gonna talk crap here. I'm not gonna talk about crap. I'm going to talk about the good stuff, like this twofer from the A's. Anybody remember them? This is more quirky new wave. Is it power pop? No, it's not really power pop. It's very poppy. There are some moments here that will remind you of some of the other great new wavy pop bands that were around in the late 70s and early 80s in America. There's also some tracks produced by Nick Garvey that will remind you kind of the Motors. There's also a track that'll remind you of the Boomtown Rats, and just all this stuff. They do definitely have their own personality. I know it may not sound like it because I was just naming all those bands, but it's definitely something you should check out. Woman's Got the Power is their biggest known hit, and it is absolutely fantastic. And this is definitely worth your time if you can track that down, or check down the album separately. So the A's is a great band. This is the second album from the Explorers Club. A lot of people say that they're just heavily influenced by the Beach Boys, and that is very, very true. Absolutely. But their first album was very Beach Boys. Their third album was very Beach Boys influenced. Great songs, by the way, both those albums. But this one here kind of sounds like it came out on A&M Records in the early 70s. More influenced by the late 60s, early 70s soft rock. They still got the Beach Boys influences, of course. Sounds like maybe Carl and Dennis went and recorded with Herb Alpert producing. And it just, the songs are fantastic. There's melodies there that will just break your heart. There's melodies that will lift you up. It's absolutely fantastic, and you should really, really track this down. It's a really fun record. It's called Gran Hotel by the Explorers Club. I'm hoping that they make another record. Their albums are fantastic. But like I said, this is the least Beach Boys-esque of their small catalog, but it's definitely got the Beach Boys influence and so much more. This is a stunning record that you need to kind of hug a little bit like this. But yeah, this is definitely worth your time. Finally, I'm going to talk about another sort of mod ska band from the late 70s, early 80s. They weren't around that long, and they only put out a few records. But their name is Graduate. And I want you to take a close look here. Okay, yeah, that looks silly. They had a sort of a ska song called Elvis Should Play Ska. They had some great pop tunes on here. Definitely mod-like. Like I said, with a tinge of ska. Some really great pop hooks. But I want you to take a close look, because this gentleman here is Roland Orzabal, and that's the other guy from Tears for Fears. Kurt Smith. How come I couldn't remember his name? It's like I remembered it when I was telling you, hey, this is Graduate, and I just totally forgot. But this right here, that's Roland and Kurt from Tears for Fears. This is pre-Tears for Fears, when they were in good moods and they were happy, playing pop. This is actually the CD version. Contains bonus tracks, and it's a whole lot of fun. Is it going to change the world? Is it power pop? No, and kind of. So, anyway, that is absolutely all I have for you now. So please remember to comment, like, share, subscribe. Do anything you can. Check out my podcast, Beach Blanket Fort Bingo. Check out my Thursday night radio show on woodyradio.com that is called Skib Dobbin with Spaz. You have been watching the latest episode of But Is It Power Pop? And I would like to thank you. Okay? Smell you later.